2023 was a big year for Hollywood, with dual strikes slowing down production, streaming competition heating up, and the possibility of more media consolidation. Joining us now to talk about what he sees ahead this year is Puck's Matt Belloni. Matt, good morning.
Morning.
You know, I'm a regular listener to your podcast. I know you've been kind of chronicling in detail this reckoning that the media industry underwent last year. And I mean, the strikes in particular, along with the maturation, if you want to call it that, of the streaming economy and all the different companies' efforts, it's led to, this period now where I guess there's a reassessment of how much do we spend on new content, how much scale do we need to navigate these waters, possibly by way of consolidation. So what do you expect thematically and maybe even specifically in the way of deals this year?
I mean, you say a reassessment. I would say a reckoning is going on in Hollywood. And the assessment is, if you're not Netflix, which has reached profitability and scale in the streaming business, all the others are chasing it. And they're really trying to squeeze at least a little bit of profit out of these streaming services. And it's very difficult. So we're going to see some consolidation in 2024. It's almost assured. The real target right now is what to do with Paramount Global, which has Paramount Plus, the Paramount Movie Studio, a bunch of cable networks that nobody wants. That, I think, has to come to some resolution in 2024, whether it is sold for parts, whether it merges with Comcast or with Warner Brothers Discovery, which can do a deal after its April tax deadline expires. Something will probably happen with Paramount Global because it's getting pretty dire there.
Yeah, I mean, Warner Brothers Discovery can do a deal and not jeopardize its tax-free status of the spinoff and all the rest of it as of April. It doesn't mean the market wants them to do this deal, though. I mean, when you saw the reports come out with some detail, Warner Brothers stock goes down. A lot of investors thought this was just a debt reduction story and a cost-cutting thing. So it feels like nobody is really playing with a winning hand.
No, and that's if Paramount Global is sold as is or as a whole. I think the realization on the part of Sherry Redstone, who is the controlling shareholder at Paramount Global, is that there likely need to be deals to take assets off her hands, whether it is BET, that asset they're in talks to sell that now to a management-led group, or whether it's the Paramount Studio, which does have value to a streaming service like Netflix or Amazon or even a traditional legacy player. She has resisted that. I think she wants to either sell the whole for a price she deems fair or hold on to the asset. Both of those options are looking increasingly unlikely. So we may see some pairing off, as she's done with Simon & Schuster, the book publisher, already.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, second time around, they managed to sell Simon & Schuster. Now, I guess the one way of looking at it that's slightly less dire is that some kind of new equilibrium is emerging here. You did see the Charter deal, kind of trying to find a new way of bundling things with streaming, with linear, and it seems like that's where we're headed. The question is, who's better positioned for that? I mean, arguably, setting Netflix aside, Disney has the ingredients to have a bit of a head start there.
Absolutely. And I think this year we will finally see the resolution of the Hulu question, because Disney is in the process of buying all control of Hulu back from Comcast, which still has 33%. Now, they've written an $8 billion check, and they're currently in mediation over how much more Disney will have to pay. But if Disney can figure out how to bundle Hulu, Disney Plus, and ESPN Plus into one service, they currently sell them as a bundle. But in one super service, perhaps that could be the answer there. I think we're also going to see more of the streaming services bundling together in different packages. We're currently seeing Verizon sell Max, the Warner streaming service, and Netflix together for a $10 price. Apple and Amazon would very much like to bundle all of the services for one price, whether it's $100 for 5 or 6 of them, or some kind of deal that can get all of the services sold through the Apple or Amazon interface. Roku could be a player in that space. Everyone seems to think that bundling is the answer here because they have an example, the cable bundle. Fantastic business, but it's unclear how that's going to shake out in streaming.